I think he definitely makes it to next year, but we'll see. One thing I want to look at is it is always halfway through the season, which is crazy because I feel like we just started. Let's look at the Big 12. I mean, what's surprising from before the season started? We looked at it. We made our schedule predictions for West Virginia. We got Oklahoma at the top. Probably would have assumed that. Oklahoma State, I feel like, is a bit of a surprise.
Yeah, I mean, they've been playing really well this year.
6-0 so far. Baylor, I guess it's not a surprise for some. I thought they wouldn't be as good this year, but they're sitting here 6-1. Iowa State's been good. Texas started good. They kind of fallen back a bit. Anything surprise you about this? I guess the biggest surprises for me is Oklahoma State is way better than I thought, and West Virginia is way worse than I expected.
Oklahoma State and Baylor better than I had expected before the season. West Virginia worse. I did not expect them to be as bad. This is probably the worst year since I forget what we finished that year. Was it 4-8, 5-12, something like that? It was a while ago.
Yeah.
No, I don't know. I mean, I think to me, Oklahoma State and Oklahoma are the two best teams. Baylor could be in it. They played Oklahoma State pretty well. So probably them three. Iowa State hasn't been as good.
Yeah. The Big 12 overall has been very good this year outside their conference. I feel like this is the best Big 12 we've seen in a few years, especially since Oklahoma got their ship righted with their quarterback. Now they actually look like Oklahoma.
I mean, Oklahoma has a real shot in the playoffs if they can get through this Big 12 schedule. They got a real shot. I mean, I think it's a clear path, no doubt about it. You go undefeated, they're in. They win the Big 12, they're in. Take a loss, I don't know. There's some Big 10 teams that could get in. I think Alabama, if they win out, they're going to be in.
How good is Cincinnati this year?
Cincinnati has been good. I think they played their toughest games already. If they win out, they're going to be in.
Well, people have been saying their schedule hasn't been tough. 6-0, man. I don't think anyone expected that from Cincinnati. They're showing that they're ready for the big time.
I mean, they beat Notre Dame. That was the game.
They did. I think that's the one game people say that was tough. The rest of their schedule they've been saying wasn't tough, but it's hard to go 6-0. And they've been pounding teams. It's not like it's been close games. So these teams they've been beating pretty solidly.
They looked the part. I mean, right now the way the matchup is you have the SEC winner at number 1. You have a 1-loss team at number 4. Oklahoma and Cincinnati would be the matchup. That'd be a fun game.
Yeah.
It's funny. Oklahoma's offense is finally putting it together, but now their defense has looked terrible. And now they look like the old Oklahoma teams. They struggle.
Right, you're just going to have to outscore teams.
They couldn't score anything. And now they're back to scoring like crazy, putting up 40, 50 points a game, and now their defense is giving up 40.
Yeah.
That's
better this year, Alabama or Georgia?
Georgia looks really good.
Georgia does look good.
That defense looks tough.
But I feel like Alabama always finds a way.
Yeah.
I feel like, though, this right now, how it looks, might be the most competitive college football playoffs we've seen in a couple of years. Because all these teams on top are pretty good.
It'll be nice to have new teams. Clemson's not going to be in. Ohio State has started looking pretty good since that loss to Oregon.
Yeah.
But all those Big 10 teams have to play each other. Iowa just lost last weekend. So you still have Ohio State and Penn State have to play. Michigan, I think, still undefeated. So they're all going to play and knock each other out. We'll see who comes out of there. If you have a team with 1 loss to win the Big 10, they're going to get a spot.
Yeah. Penn State's been really good. I mean, they could do something here.
Penn State was good. I think the only reason they lost to Iowa was because their quarterback got hurt.
Yeah.
Penn State's a good team. If they beat Ohio State and win out. I think they got a good shot to get in.
That would be exciting.
Yeah. To me, Alabama and Georgia are probably the two best teams.
It would be really tough to beat Georgia this year.
I think the only team that can beat Georgia right now, Oklahoma needs to get if they get their defense playing well, they got a shot at their offense now because their offense has been really good. The defense can't be how it is. I don't know. Alabama definitely has a shot. I wouldn't bet it against Alabama in that SEC championship game.
Yeah.
And who knows if Georgia stumbles along the way, plays bad, maybe Florida takes them. It's hard to see right now, but sometimes these teams play in games and have a bad day, just like Alabama did against A&M. A&M's starting to look better too.
Yeah, they've been really good lately. That's another one was kind of surprising.
Yeah. I mean, they had a lot of hype before the season, and then they started off kind of bad. But since that Alabama game,
5-2 right now,
they're starting to look the part. We'll see. I'd like to see Oklahoma get in there. I'd like to see a Big 12 team. Yeah. Maybe Oklahoma State. That Oklahoma State game will be good.
That's a big game now.
Yeah. Maybe they play twice.
The only thing I'll say is this is probably the most competitive I think I've seen in previous years in college football. You don't look at that top four and think anyone's beaten those teams, especially the top two. Alabama, Clemson in previous years. This year, I feel like, honestly, anyone in the top 8 maybe could make a run for this. I mean, you got Penn State, maybe not Michigan or Michigan State. I don't know how I feel about them. Ohio State could get hot. You still got Alabama, Cincinnati. Who knows what they could do? That's a new team we've seen up there. I mean, you don't think they go in and beat Georgia or anybody like this, but you never know. Who knows?
Well, the last 2 years, there's been one team. There's always one team that seemed kind of on another level from everybody.
Yeah.
It was LSU with Joe Burrow. Last year was Alabama. And I mean, neither of those teams played any close games.
Yeah.
Just went through the schedule.
Trevor
this year,
Lawrence,
Georgia
Clemson
kind of has seemed like that. But Clemson turned out not to be as good.
He got hurt, though. I think that hurt them. Or he got COVID when he was out. I think that hurt them.
Who?
Trevor Lawrence. Or you mean this year?
I'm talking about this year.
Oh, this year. Yeah, they didn't. I saw those preseason rankings. I didn't think they were going to be that good.
Yeah, their QB, I mean, he hasn't been anywhere near.
I'm surprised they're still ranked, honestly. I think that's a little bit of bias.
Are they still ranked? I don't know if they're even ranked anymore since they
on
lost.
Today's polls, they're 24th. That's the updated poll from today, which I think is very generous. Because they're 4-2.
They might not even be the best team in the ACC anymore.
No, I don't think so.
We'll see. Be an interesting year. I want to see Georgia, Alabama. That game will tell me a lot. Or Georgia. I'd like to. Who's Georgia play? I don't even know. It's a team I want to see get a measuring stick because I can't. That Clemson game was, but then after I've seen how Clemson has played, I don't feel the same way. But Georgia has just mowed through everybody. They beat Arkansas, and Arkansas was good. They went through Auburn. They destroyed Kentucky. Man, when they play Arkansas and they played Kentucky, the spreads were huge. I think the spread for Arkansas was like 16 or 17 for Georgia, Arkansas. And I was like, man, I would take Arkansas if I was betting. I think Arkansas would stay. And they got beat 37-0. Yeah. They played Kentucky. The spread was like, it was number 1 versus number 11. The spread was 20-21. And I was like, man, it can't be that bad. You're playing the 11th team. They beat them 30-13.
Who was that? We were in Vegas and you talked me into taking some bet. You said
it was Alabama versus somebody.
Yeah. You said all we got to do, we beat the spread easy.
It was like plus 55.
That was a blowout before the first half ended. You son of a bitch.
Georgia really.
You sold me on that too. You're like, oh, you see the spread on that? We'll make that easy. First half, it was over.
Yeah.
I think it was over by the first quarter. It was like 28-0. I was like, okay, let me throw this ticket away. I don't know, man. It's exciting. Let us know in the comments. Who do you guys think? I mean, what do you think of the playoffs this year? Who do you got? Who do you think will win? Who's your dark horse team? Maybe who's a team that you don't could come out? Mine's Cincinnati. I think Cincinnati could do something for our Pittsburgh fans. Honestly, it might be good to see Penn State make some moves. Let us know what you guys think. Who do you got in the playoffs this year? And who do you think's a team that could shock a lot of people in the playoffs?